Hey, what is going on? Today we're gonna look at a roll and you're gonna learn some super simple stuff that you can start using immediately. It was a Saturday and I was sitting resting after my previous roll and this guy asks me to roll and I'm like, yeah, sure. And recently we had a bunch of white belts come in who were wrestlers, like younger college, high school age wrestlers. And I've seen multiple people who are not purple belts, who are white belts wearing purple belt rash guards. So I immediately assumed that this person was one of those white belt wrestlers. I'm thinking, okay, this is gonna be the perfect opportunity to showcase my moves that I taught in my last videos about breaking the closed guard and passing guard. So I go to pass his guard and I feel like he got lucky with the buggy choke, and I'm thinking, man, they just gotta stop watching this YouTube jiu-jitsu. And on that note, please subscribe to my YouTube jiu-jitsu channel. Now, for those of you who don't know who JRod is the younger brother of Nicky Rodriguez.
Representing the B team, the 2019 ADCC silver medalist, the black belt slayer, Nicky Rodriguez.
I'm still thinking this is a unicorn white belt. I tell him that I tapped to his buggy choke because it was annoying, not because it was on. I still did not make the connection of who he was yet. He stands up to break my guard and I go for a couple of open guard sweeps. One key thing for you to take away from this exchange is how he keeps his stance. He's keeping his rear leg back while controlling my ankles. Simple things done well are extremely powerful. While controlling my ankles and pinching his knees together, that way I can't get a hook. And then from here, he goes for a cross body ride to take my back, but I'm thinking, absolutely not. So I grab his leg to do a knee bar and then do an inside heel hook. And to defend a heel hook, one very straightforward defense is to simply stand up. So he stands up in order to defend and sits down before I can try to get my hooks to get to his back. The round ended here because we started halfway, but sometimes I find basic and the English language can be confused with being non-effective, like somehow advanced is better. But the biggest flex is doing basic moves, and basic moves done well are not basic. So here I am trying to do a knee in to open his guard in order to pass his guard, and finally when he opens his guard, I go to pass and end up again in this buggy choke of his. So now I'm thinking, okay, I found this unicorn white belt who's super athletic and I need to break down his posture and keep it broken in order to do anything. So I go to set up this arm bar and I use a grip on the back of his head. Basically, it's like a Muay Thai clinch grip where once you break down his posture using the legs, you can keep the posture broken by gripping the crown, and at the same time I'm trying to flare his elbow out in order to get this arm bar that I've been working on. He's on the move, can't seem to shake the shade. Within his dreams, he sees the life he made. The pain is deep. A silent sleeper, you won't hear a beat. The girl he wants don't see no one in two. It seems the feelings that she had are through. Again, I'm going for these open guard sweeps. At this point, I'm just wondering why none of my stuff is working against this white belt. Like, what is going on here? I'm like, this is like a Twilight Zone episode. Now, I'm going for a Kimura here. You can go for Kimuras from this position, and you can also use the Kimura grip to go for sweeps, but he's defending by straightening his arm, so I couldn't get a Kimura grip. So that's something you can also do as well to defend against Kimuras, whether that's you're on your back or whatnot. Here, I'm doing what I do best. If all else fails, just be complete pain in the ass. So I post on his neck in order to try to do a leg over pendulum escape. He tries to muffle me, but I thwart his hand away, and this is not the end of the muffling fun. Now he goes for a spinning armbar and gets me in a triangle hold. This wasn't a full-on choke, but you can use triangles as a hold while you attack extremities. So right now he's trying to pry my hands apart, and I'm thinking, you're gonna have to pry my cold, dead fingers apart before you get this arm, my friend. And one technique that he is doing, that he tried to do, is when I had my hands clasped together and he was trying to rip my arm open, I see over his thigh, his little fingers like going for my nose. So he was trying to plug my nose, that way I would be focused on breathing and thwarting his hand away, that way he could take my arm. But he ended up readjusting here and getting the arm bar with this triangle hold, which I personally love doing. This is a great move. So just remember, if you ever have them in a triangle and the triangle choke isn't working, like think the triangle can be a hold and you can attack their arm using any type of attack. I'm talking Kimuras, arm bars, Americana, you can even wrist lock.
I'm all the way up. I'm all the way up.
DJ Bebo, play.
Socorro, lo encontraron muerto en el morro. Trabaja para el gobierno y yo la cara te borro. Te matamos si te nos vas por chorro.
So here, this is the end of this round, but there is more fun up ahead. If you have not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, especially if you watched more than one video. You know, it's a great way to thank me for getting beat up by, I'm still thinking this is a white belt now. You can imagine my self-confidence. I'm like, what is going on here? So we start again, and I post on his hips and put a knee in his butt in order to try to open his guard. Like, why is nothing working against this white belt? JRod is in fact a purple belt.
Me toca fugarme el escorro. Lo prendimos fuego, ese cabrón estaba gritando socorro. Yo soy un demonio desde cachorro. Sin me enzorro, saco la fuleta y los forros. Y al papa le tumbamos el gorro. Un cachivato, sangre en el contrato. Si me tocan va a morirse hasta Pilato. Dinero para nosotros, droga para los tecatos. Después que tú te mueras nos vestimos de blanco.
And he does a super interesting move here. This is the most interesting move in this entire round. He grabs my arm, pulls it across, wraps it around my head as if he's doing a gift wrap technique. At the same time, he gets a body triangle. And then from the body triangle, he then moves to my back, and at the same time, I'm trying to do back escape techniques, but those only work if they have hooks in, not if they have a body triangle. So he gets his left hand, do you see that underhook that he gets? That's super important. So right now he's going for a classic one-armed rear naked choke with the top hand control with a body triangle. But this is the most interesting thing. Do you see what he's doing here with my left arm? He actually got a Kimura. So the reason why this is such an amazing technique is because anytime you make them choose between two different attacks, it's like, okay, I'm getting choked and also my arm is getting attacked. If I use my right hand to defend my arm getting attacked, that leaves open the choke. If I use my right hand to defend the choke, then that leaves the arm open. So it's great when you pair two attacks together because then it'll leave one open when they try to defend the other one. That's why this is such a brilliant move. And typically we just do top side arm control with the one-armed rear naked choke, but adding in a Kimura on top of that just makes it's like brilliant. That was definitely my favorite part.
Si tú no me matas, yo te mato. Investigaciones de asesinato. La calle está cambiando. Ahora hay muchos jefes choteando. Cabrones jodieron el contrabando.
Oye, DJ Bebo. Oye, esto es un saludo exclusivo para DJ Bebo, el más duro detrás de los platos. Te lo dice Dios, versora de la calle. DJ Bebo, ¿ok?
All right, so this is the last and final exchange. So I quickly try to go for this armbar, and as he pops up, I'm thinking, screw this open guard stuff. This kid has such good balance, like none of my sweeps are working, so I'm just gonna do this the old-fashioned way and take him down. So I shove his head in order to get him off balance and then try to go for a front headlock, but he postures up immediately. I go for a rolling knee bar, but he controls my hips, which absolutely effectively defends my rolling knee bar.
Just hold up. I said records, just hold up. I know you came here to see. If you're afraid, then you come on with me. I know what you came here to do. Now bust it open, let me see you get it. It's going down for real. It's going down for real. And they already know me. It's going down for real. It's going down for real. And they already know me. It's going down further than famous. You're my girl, you never seen her. Cause my tins both limousines. My touch say it's the Midas. We the plus, your man, a minus. My team blowing on that slam. Make you cough, that's bronchitis. Put your hands up. It's a stick up, no more makeup. Get that ass on the floor, ladies, put your lipstick up. Double entendre. Why you hating, I get money, then I double up tundras. I know you came here to see. If you afraid, then you come on with me. I know what you came here to do. Now bust it open, let me see you get it.
So after this round was over, I still thought that, you know, I was up against a white belt with extremely good fundamentals and athleticism. And I sat down next to my coach afterwards and I was like, Nate, you know, is that guy over there any good? And he's like, Crystal, like, that's JRod. And I was like, oh. I told him his buggy choke was annoying. So thank you so much for watching. It was a pleasure to, you know, narrate this role for you. It was definitely a hilarious experience. Thinking somebody who's extremely skilled is actually a white belt and that you, in fact, have lost all your skill overnight somehow. Like, what is happening? But all right, so until next time, remember you're getting better every day. Unless you go up against somebody who's advanced who you think is a white belt, then you think you just lost it. You lost your touch, you know? It's time to hang up the phone. All right, but you are getting better every day. And until next time, bye.
DJ Bebo, ¿ok?
Socorro, no encontraron muertos en el morro. Trabaja para el gobierno y yo la cara te borro. Te matamos si te nos vas por chorro. Y si me toca fugar me les corro. Lo prendimos en fuego, ese cabrón estaba